minutes late. I decided I better go potty before we started. Hi, Anita. So I have last month's bargain bead box out. I haven't done anything with it other than the unboxing, so I decided today was the day we should check it out, see what I got there. Hi, Rosemary. So, how's everybody doing? I know most of us were on Randy's talk earlier, so we've all said hi to each other. um, so, like I said, I haven't done anything with this yet this month. I was actually working on the wedding jewelry for Randy this last few days. Actually, I made, I'm not sure how Art Deco these are, but I used mostly the things from her that she sent me. So there's a hair barrette. Hi, Kimberly. So there's the hair barrette. Here's the brooch. And here's one of the hair combs. Of course, there's two, so they match either side. And tomorrow's video is actually the bracelet, which is, so I've added some odds and ends things of my own in, obviously, mainly the crystals. On three of the pieces, it's just the crystals, and then of course it's everything except on the hair combs, it's everything except this piece here, the little black flowers. She sent me those. So those are what I have done so far. This is going to be the bottom, the pendant of the necklace that I've got designed. These pieces are mine that are in the background, but the black rose was in the stuff I got from Randy. Now these pieces are actually bronze, but I spray painted them to be silver to match everything else. Thanks, everyone. Hi, Marika. Didn't see you sneak in. So anyway, the bracelet is tomorrow's video, so if you want to see how I made that. The other things I made on my own. So I also have 2 pair of earrings designed and the necklace that rose is going to go onto. So I was actually debating working on the earrings today, but I'm not going to. Maybe I'll do those for another video for later in the week. But we're going to look at our last month's, what was this called? Mystic Moonrise. Looks like it. Because I haven't done a thing with it other than unboxing it. I do have a design in mind if I decide to use the pieces from this for a circlet, actually, but I haven't done anything. Let's turn down and we'll see what we want to do with it. Come on, flip. There we go. So here we go. Okay, what are you seeing right here in the corner? Because there's something here. Maybe I don't have it all the way. There it is. Okay. Besides my junk over there, but I didn't figure you needed whatever that blank spot was. It looks like it was the tripod. So let's pull out our Mystic Moonrise here and see if we can come up with an idea of something to make. I like these larvikite. Aren't they pretty? Look at that flash. Oh, this one's flashing really nicely. Now, as I mentioned in my bat video, from what I understand, larvikite is actually just black labradorite, which isn't really black. It's just a really dark gray, but I think it's really pretty. So we have that, and then I have my beautiful labradorite stones. I get a kick out of these. These are really pretty connectors. I got to decide what I want to do with them, though. I definitely want to put them in some earrings. Labradorite, we have some chain, bead caps. I like these star cut or English cut, whichever you prefer calling them, crystals, teeny labradorite. And so they gave us some of these. Now, these ones, if I remember from looking at them when we unboxed, are only one-sided as far as the loop is concerned, which sort of concerns me because it's like the loop is what makes sure it stays together. So anyway, here's our pretty moons, and we have some saucer spacers and the stars. Now, I'm sort of leaning towards either a bracelet or some earrings. Of course, I always lean to earrings if I need something. So, these are pretty. Could put these in here for earrings. But like I said, I've got a sort of design in mind to use these for, I'll flip them and use them facing to each other in a circlet so that they're the front piece of the circlet. And I'll cut the rings off, of course, because they'll just be a problem. Sort of like this. Though I do have some of these in silver. So we could use these here, and I could just use the silver ones. I think I might even have them gold for my circlet. But I really am leaning towards either a bracelet or some earrings. And I really I'm thinking I'm going to use these, a couple of these in some earrings. Is there anything anybody would like us to make, per se, with any of this? I have no preferences myself. Could also use these for earrings. I always use the half of these for earrings. I'm not going to use these that don't like them. For those of you who do like them, sorry if that's a problem for you, but I don't. So, like I said, I think we're going to make an earrings or some bracelet using these. A multi-strand bracelet. We could do that. Actually, if we're going to make a multi-strand bracelet, and I can make some earrings later, we have to, no, I have some, I think I have some copper jump rings. Not sure. But if we're going to do a multi-strand, I want something relatively, we're going to do, this is our base. And then I want something relatively large for in the middle. I might keep one of these stars out for a dangle at the end. I could use some chain. don't think so. Let's see. Oh, I forgot we had these little leaves. Weird to have both leaves and stars, but whatever. I used to have a sweater with buttons made out of this stuff. It's so pretty. Now, if I'm going to make a multi-strand, I will probably do either a 2 or 3 strand. Where did I put those? Oh, they're bronze. I was thinking they were copper, but they're bronze. And of course, these ones are also bronze. Darn it. Because I was thinking I have the 2-strand bracelet ends that I could just, well, I could use it anyway. Its color isn't that different. And if I wanted to, I could even intersperse some bronze in here too. But since we're going to do that, we're going to offset these two like so, I think, if we're doing 2 strands. And cat hair. Let's see here. I think we're going to use the blues. These are going to be, actually, in my opinion, too flat once we put them with these. So I think we might put these aside. And we actually, if we wanted to, could make this with 3 of these and make one side here and then have this one come up like so in the middle. I like that. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Obviously, we're not going to use our pendant or our moons. But I might use some stars. If I go all the way to the end, I don't need the chain. So we've got lots of fun pieces we can work with here, though. No, I don't think so. You guys are going to be earrings. This is going to be my end piece, so I don't really need that yet. But we need to decide how we're going to do these. And I think I'll get out some dark blue lapis soft flex medium to put this together. And I should have somewhere some copper. Nope, those are the gold ones. We need copper. Copper crimp tubes. Oh, come on, you silly crimp tubes. I have all colors right here. Why is there no copper? This is that weird stuff we got from beetle on that I still have not figured out what to do with this. The only thing I can think of is stuffing something into it and then bringing it together. But it would have to be some pretty big beads to go into there, or a whole bunch. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're not using that right now. Ah, is that them? Yes, there's our copper tubes. So I think what we want to do is we're going to let this spread out some. Stars are at the bottom if I use you. Same with the leaves. Where'd the leaves go? Right here. Okay, sit aside. And we want little ones. So I'm thinking we'll put a cap on either side of this guy. And I'm thinking I want some color, so I think we may go for this blue. Look at the nice contrast there with the copper. I like that. Hey, Cindy. So then when we go over here to the other side, because it's going to be spread like this because we've got to hook it in. Now we could do this with wire or we could do it with the soft flex. I'm probably going to do it with the soft flex, more supple, you know. But I just heard a sneeze. I think one of my kitties is down below me, probably on the other side of my cabinet here. I think even though we're going to make this a 2-strand bracelet, I'm just going to work on the first strand first. We'll put this aside and then we'll meet them together up later. So I like this larvikite, but it is a flat rondelle. See how it's flat on this one side? Look at the flash. That one flashes nicely. So I'm going to want something probably on the other side of him. I may let him have bead caps too. Got to be careful. I'm not sure how many bead caps we have here, and I don't think I have this color of this style in around the house. So put you there. But if we're going to do that, now I was thinking of starting out with this one, but with these tiny ones, the thing you've got to remember is that you've got to deal with, are you going to be able to put 2 strands of your beading wire through one of these tiny beads? And a lot of times that's a no. So I don't want to use this one again. I think it would be too consistent with the other whippet. Well, let's see what it would look like. Maybe it is the way to go, and just a little bit of a different thing going there. Well, let's put this first little section together, and then we can go on from there. So get a couple of crimp tubes out, just two, and a touch of wire. We don't need very much, obviously. It's a short span. I am going to cut this much, though, because I like to have that room for working, and I don't want to have to worry about whether I've got this good or not. Now, one thing when you do this that you have to think about and be cognizant of is that sometimes your beading wire, especially if you don't get it going more or less the same direction, when you put things like this together, you're going to have to worry about one of them flipping upside down. And it will probably try. So get my magical crimpers out here. We will get that little copper tube inside our divot and squish. Okay, there we go. Now we want to put our blue on. Now this has a good size hole, so I'm not worried about it going over two wires. It will definitely do so. Now I'm going to cut this now, the extra wire, because even though we've got the other beads there, if I left that length of wire on here, we have the problem of the other one coming from the other side and smacking it. So there we go. That's pretty. Now we'll put our cramp tube on. And here's where I said we have to be cognizant of what we're doing. We're going to go up through here because now we're facing the same direction as this one is. And then up and loop it through here. And through our bead here. And I am going to bring it out of the wire out of the bead right here, because this bead cap has a slight turn to it. So it should keep it from getting too loose right here. If I went the other direction, we wouldn't want it to come out of the edge of the bead caps because they're concave, and it would the wire would pull it up off of your bead, which this does to a degree anyway, but it's not as bad. So now that we've got that in here, we got it pretty well set up the direction we want it. Push this bead down so it's not got a lot of extra room there, and we'll crimp. Okay, I think we're good. Now we'll cut this extra bit of wire off. We're going to have to fold just a teeny bit, fold your beads. Carefully get in there. Now this is a spot where you want to be careful because you don't want to cut your other wire. So there we go. There's our first bit of our bracelet. Ah, well. So now this piece will sit like so. And when we do the second, it's going to have this piece right here. So in all actuality, if we wanted to mimic this with our other, we could just bring this, and instead of our larvikite, put a labradorite here, and then another blue. And then we'd have to do something to break it up, which we could do, no problem. And that would bring this pattern to this one as well. Now, because I probably will not put any more of these on, though, when I start this, I'm going to want to finish it. So I'm not going to keep going with this. I am going to use that as what I'm going to do, though. So we're going to put the labradorite with that. So that's going to go like this for our second one. But then we will have to have some kind of division, or I guess would be what you'd call it, to start going down the other way. So what I think I'm going to do to make that division is we're going to put a couple of saucer beads right here on either side. And then, we'll continue on with whatever pattern we decide to use. Now, that is our second strand, and it's not going to have any more spacers, so we're going to have to go from side to side until we're done. And so this baby is going to be sitting aside up here, just like this, because this is what we're going to do on this side of them when we get to that point. But first, we're going to work on this side. So I do want to use a little of these beads here, the agates, but because they are definitely, I'm fairly positive, too small to take 2 strands. We don't want to start with one of those, I don't think. We could start with the dark blue ones still. They're a really pretty bead, and I don't really mind them. But then go to a different pattern after that. And they will definitely, as we already know, take 2 strands of the wire. Where did I put the wire? I probably buried it right here somewhere. Here it is. We can actually sort of test a bead to see if it will take 2 strands. Where'd my end go? There it is. And to do that, without even cutting this off, I do have another piece of wire beside me here that I cut off something else, but it was too long to throw away. So we can see if 2 will go through here. Come back, you. See how what I mean? It's a pretty long piece. I'll probably use it for another bracelet. So we can always test to see if 2 will go through here. So no problem with that one. I'm fairly positive from the size of the hole that we don't have to worry about the larvikite or the labradorite. But we can always do a test. See how easy that one went through? No problem whatsoever with that. And I suspect I'll have the same luck with the larvikite. Yes, went through easily. Now, the only one I'm concerned about, like I said, if we're going to use them, we also have these tiny guys as well, if we decide to put those in as in spacing. Where am I? They're right here, Rose. You just had them. Now, this is on regular string. I could feel when it cut. Go back in. No, you're going to go everywhere, aren't you? think they want to be used. They're coming out. But I doubt very strongly if there's a big enough hole in this to take 2 wires. I was incorrect. It went in with no problem. Well, it fought a little bit, but not nearly enough that I'd worry about it. So cool. So if that's the case, we may just use one of these guys. I think I want this blue one here. Up at the very beginning. Put you guys aside so you're not in the way. I think then we'll put the larvikite here. And maybe go backwards like we need the English cut. Where are they? Right here. Well, these ones were obviously on wire because it's just came out of my hand. Okay. Now I want bead caps around the larvikite. And I need some antique copper for the others. Well, I don't have an atrocious lot of these, but there's enough, I think, to do what I need to do. So we put those in between. In between these little guys here. And then we'll put a saucer bead. These things just want to come out with me today. And we'll have to see how long that is. Sorry to hear that. You know, I think I don't think I sold any bracelets either when I was at my last show, my Renaissance fair. But then I didn't sell a lot of stuff that I normally sell, and I was pretty disappointed. But it is what it is. So this now is about 6 inches because of the kind of where did I put it? It's around here somewhere. There it is. The kind of clasp we're going to use. It's not going to give the usual dump of spacing that will show up in everything else. So we're just going to put maybe 1 or 2 more beads down here. And maybe we'll use the dark blue ones again over here on this end. Bing, bing. I'm going to get some line out, and we're going to start stringing this one up so that once it's strung, we can get a better idea of how long it's going to be here. And since we don't need a lot again, because we're doing this one in 3 sections, I'm just going to cut off a hunk here and get some tubes out. We'll get 2 out because I need one for the other side. Now, in all actuality, this one will be easier as far as all the wiring and stuff is concerned because obviously it only has 2 connections instead of these 4 that we're starting with here. And I didn't need to put that much wire through there. We can ease it off here and pull it some more this direction. Okay. Are you straight in there? I don't think so. You look like you're crossed. Your own. That's better. So we'll crimp this. Stop. You know, I was watching Joyce on Softflex the other day, and she was like, count a little pile of beads because she was making a tassel and put them on your desk so that you can get an idea of, you know, where things are going to be. I mean, how many you need for your tassel. And I'm like, that just wouldn't work for me because I would probably knock everything onto the floor. I am notorious for knocking things off my desk. And I'll be the first to admit it. Now, down here, baby. There we go. And then you over there. Come on. Funny that the thing that's wanting to give me some problems is the spacer bead, not the little, I think these are agates, if I remember right, dyed agate. Go. Now see, I probably have a lot more line than I need here, but that's all right. Where is your hole at? There it is. Then we're going to put on our saucer for our spacer and then our dark blue one here. And I've got you upside down here. There we go. Oh, geez, Beth. Hi, Angel. Oh, Beth, don't throw your hip out, whatever you do. So now we're going to start on the other side. And this could have been a teeny touch tighter, but it's not going to get tighter unless I decide to get some crimp covers out. And we wouldn't want to use big ones because they would take up too much space. See, there's not a lot of extra space there. And once you put it on, I think it won't be a problem so much. But this is going around. It might be long enough. If not, we'll just throw in one more bead. Maybe one of the, either one of the agates or one of the crystal spacers. We'll see. Or I could just take and put a labradorite on this side and then put the blue one. If we need that much space. I'm not sure we're going to need that much space though. So now we need another length of this. So cut a little bit off. And we're going to hook it to the other side. Now again, you want to make sure you don't go sideways as you pull out of here. You want to go up and down because that's the way these connectors go. So let's pull this up. Make sure your wires are not crossed. Okay. And crimp. Get out of the way, baby. There we go. And now we're going to do the same thing on this side as we did over here. Hey, Rosemary. So now it's the little, yeek. There we go, dropping things. Luckily not all the way to the floor. Not that that would have been that big of a deal since we have lots of these little agates. Come on, go on. There we go. Now my spacer. Come on. Again, the spacer is the one giving me problems on going through, and it looks like it has a plenty big enough hole. I gotta wonder if it's blocked a little bit. Doesn't appear to be. But if you want to be that way, we'll just get a different one. There we go. English cut. Oh, that one's got a nice flash. Can you see that? And then our English cut, which is trying to run away here. So there's this side. So now we have all these pieces put in place. Let's get a bead stopper here and put on this side. And then I'm going to put it around my wrist and see what I think. Though that's not the pertinent real test because I want to, that's not going to make it, obviously, because we still have, I don't know, over an inch there. Let's get out our ruler, flip it the right way. I don't like upside down. So we're just a little bit at 6 right there. And we need probably at least another ½ an inch, maybe more. Let's get our bracelet sizer out and we'll take a look. Oh, thank you, Beth. Okay, so we're going to get our bracelet sizer out. We're going to flip it since we are upside down here, and we're going to bring it around. See how much room we've got still that we need for that 7-inch bracelet, because we are way smaller than that, and our clasp is not going to take up much more room than the end of our so we need to come up with another slight pattern. We need probably at least an inch more of beads. So if we need an inch more, and I just knocked something on the floor, surprise, surprise, let's bring in this pattern again. So I'm just going to grab the beads from up there because they're already here, so why bother making more? Where's your hole? There it is. So now we'll put our bead stopper back on this side again. Grab these beads that we had for the other side and put them on. Ooh, that one's got some lovely flash. See how it's flashing there? Very pretty. And now we'll see how long this baby is at this point. So there we go. Now we'll bring her up to the 7. And I think we're probably where we're going to have to stop, because when we get the clasp all put on, we may end up being down here further. And that's all right. I don't mind that. But before we even bother to do that, we're going to bring these beads back down. Put this up here. And we're going to start working on our second strand because we want to make sure they're approximately the same size. Now, if they're a little bit off, that's can be remedied by just putting an extra jump ring at the clasp. And, I have done that before. It's something that sometimes is necessary to do. And if we do need to do it, we need to do it. And that's fine. So we need to get our beads back out that we had originally had for here. We're going to need to get 2 wires instead of the 3 because we don't need this middle one here. And start stringing up the rest of this. So we'll get out a hunk of our soft flex. I love this color. Such pretty. Now I'm going to cut about this much. That gives me plenty of working room. And no, I'm not measuring it naughty that way, but oh well. And I really need 2 pieces, but right now I'm just going to work on the one side, so we're only going to need 1 for right now. So I'm going to get some crimp tubes out. I'm just going to put a little pile there because I'm going to need them later. So we're just going to get 1, go through our ring connector, whatever you want to call this piece. Slide our crimp tube on and crimp that up as soon as you make sure that your wires are not crossed. Okay. Okay, in there and crimp. Now, if you'll recall, when we were talking about it, we wanted to start with this pattern. So we'll put our dark blue bead on here first. And then we have to get out the beads that we just took and used for the other side of the bracelet, which is namely our labradorite and our bead caps. And of course we'll need some dark blue too when we go to do the other side. Oops, knocking things down. Get back up there. So now then now that we've got these beads on, which match our middle piece here, we'll put on this Saturn spacer. And now we're right here. Now I was thinking I'd go to this pattern, but then it's going to be exactly the same side to side. So I'm thinking I might reverse this, take this off, put this pattern on that's right here so that when it sits beside it, it has this pattern rather than this one. Then we'll go back to this one and back to this one as we need it. So let's do that. We'll bring this back off, put it aside, and we're going to start with an agate. Now I want the blue ones if possible, so since there are quite a few blue ones, I shouldn't have a problem getting some more blue ones out of here. We'll just use this darker blue. Well, there's a really pretty one right there. So on with you. That is actually going on easier than I expected. Now we need some of the, there they are, English cut. This must be where the cut's at. Well, I can be that way. There we go. This one will need cut loose from here. But spacer. Now I need the larvikite out. These guys and another of the dyed agate. Now we're at, nope, right like that. See, and that's actually pretty good as far as across the way there. So now we're going to go to this, put the Saturn cup in, the bead in, and then we'll put that pattern in, and we'll probably need enough to do another one of these. So Now, as you can see, we're right here, which puts us right here again. And I'm not sure we're going to have enough room to do a full turn of this. And if we don't, we'll stop where we need to. So let's just start it up. Need to get some more of the bead caps out. Be about right there. Might be just at that spot. Let's see. Where are you at, bead caps? Now let's see what we look like as far as length is concerned here. It goes right here in the middle. And you see we went over. So we're going to take off this little bit right here. And I think that's going to be about where we need to be at. Maybe even a little over. If it is a little over, like I say, this is where your jump rings come into play, and when you are attaching everything together. So let's get a bead stopper for this side. Get some more wire out and we'll start building our other side. And we may have, okay, I think we're going to go over a little bit, guys. I hope that's not going to be a problem because I could just start attaching this side and then we could finish it later, but since we know what we're doing, hopefully it won't take me too long to finish this up. So now we get our another crimp tube, go through this other side here. Crimp this baby up. I think it's twisted in here. Not that way. Maybe it's not. There we go. Now I just take my crimping pliers and go around in a circle until it's not squishing anymore. And it's not squishing anymore right now, so we can stop. Chew up, though I will need some more of you, so I might as well just pour some out. Looks like I need 2. 1 and 2. We've got one more of you, so we only need 1 of you. Got a couple bead caps. We need some larvikites. Oh yeah, that's that one I need to cut loose from where it's stuck at. And a couple more of these so we can get to the blues. like I say, these are now more brown. This is a greeny color. Well, that's like a Montana blue. That might be all right. And there's a couple blues, so you can go with those. We don't want this greeny colored one, though. So I think that's all we need anyway. So I think we'll just put this guy on. And you need to go over that bit of wire. I left it small enough that I shouldn't have a problem with my, so one of these. I think I'm going to need a couple more bead caps before we're done. Come on, baby. Where's your hole? There we go. My grandson always laughs when I say that because it's like, really, Grandma? Where's your hole? Boys have such a weird sense of humor sometimes. Okay, now we're back to our little guy here. And now's when I need those extra bead caps that I didn't knock out. But I think these are the last two I'm going to need because put our larvikite on. Get up there. No, I don't need any more of you. And our English cut. And that, I believe, is the end of the road. So let's put a bead stopper on this side. No, I don't want that tiny one. These tiny ones are come in handy for little spots, but their spring is not as tight and they loosen up too easily, in my opinion. So here is our one strand, and here's the other strand. And let's see how close they are to each other. Oh, I think that one might be a bit longer. The one. So to find out for sure, I'm going to undo these two and I'm going to put them together. Come here. Get them to so the beads are about the same length, and we will put them both on the same one in the same bead stopper. Though I'm going to spread these a little bit more. Oh, that didn't work. There we go. But you need to come in. Okay. Now I'm going to, Rose, you can't do it that way. It has to be tighter right here. You forget you are got middle pieces. Oops. Now I want these to be about the same as far as how close they are up to the bead stopper, because that's what's going to tell us if we're close enough for the other side. So we're twisted here, but that's all right. We're just checking something anyway. So now, see there? We're much shorter on this one by about, maybe we want to put that little agate back on there because it's not very big and it might be just enough because see how this one's nice here, but as we go this direction, and it's weird because it's right, it looks pretty good here. But as we get over here, it's twisted. Go this way. We go and we start going off and we're off. So we need that extra bead. Marika, this is both labradorite, these ones, and larvikite, which is technically just black labradorite. So I need a couple more blue beads out of here. That one will work. And come on, one more. This is a little lighter, but I think it'll work anyway. I don't want these dark ones. So because this is now, as you can see, it's too short on this side, we're going to take notice that sometimes when you get these spacers, they're two different sizes. These all look smaller, but these look bigger. So I'm going to open up this again. I'm going to take one of these spacers. Come on, baby. And one of our little blue agates. And now we'll pull these all together so we can see about, and as you can see, we're still a little bit off. So I think we can definitely still do the other side. Bing. Go back on this one. And then we'll put the little guy on this side again. And I had taken these off thinking they were going to be too long, but as it turns out, they're not. So now we will try putting these back side by side again to see how close we are now. Come on, open up. Come on. Okay, are you up there all the way? Pretty much. You're a little bit off. There we go. So now we'll swing these down again, bring them down here and see how close they are. Now I think now this one is a little bit shorter, but we're going to fix that by making our loops in our ends, and then we're going to use a bigger jump ring on one side than the other side. So we don't need any of this anymore other than a couple of, well, all four of these guys. So we can put these things quickly away so they're not going to get knocked out of the way or anything like that. Oh yeah, I need to get that off of that one. Okay, so now I'm going to just do our normal ends on all four of these. So here comes our trickiest part, is getting it through that little bead there. And if it doesn't want to go through your, oh, it's already through, so it's not arguing with me. We're going to pull this guy up. And I think I'm going to put him through our English cut as well. So slide everything down till you get it pretty relatively tight, of course, like you would normally. Now you got to remember this one is not a second side because I mean a first side. It's more like a second side because we've got to do these all individually. So once we have this pulled up where I want it, I'll get in and crimp this. I always seem to go over time, don't I? Even when I'm making a simple project for you guys. Well, unless I'm making earrings. What are you holding on to? Okay, here's one side. We want to make sure we're cutting the proper wire here when we cut. There we go. Now this is cut a little long, but it can go inside its other piece over here, so no problem there. Now I'm going to do the same on this one. I could go over and get the other side of this, but I'm going to just get this one done first, since both of these are loose. Well, you know, had individual. Pull up, push it down. Now see how that bead cap is holding up the wire some? And even though it's holding it up some here, it would even be worse if it was from the other side. Come on, you. Okay, those two are trimmed. And now you can see that when I push these both down, they're about the same length. Now that holds true once we get these two done and then hooked onto the one side of the clasp, then we don't have to worry about any extra jump rings or different size jump rings. They can all be the same if we've got it pretty close. Now, if you wanted to go through this, you could go through and come out here to cut it. It doesn't have to be where I have it right here. Heck, you don't even have to go through the beads. I just prefer to. Because that sometimes when you don't and you cut it off right at the crimp tube, you get that little rough edge of your wires sticking out there, and nobody likes that. And this crimp keeps sliding on me and it's going a little bit wonky. But I think it's going to be all right. holding good. Yeah, it is. So cut that off then. And do our last piece. This is going to be a very shimmery bracelet. Didn't go in, Rose. Have you ever thought you've got into your crimp tube and then you haven't, and then when you go and tighten everything up, it's like, well, that was a bugger. So work this down. Wrong side. There we go. Just a teeny bit more. There we go. And crimp this baby. And trim it off. Come on. Okay, there's our 2 strands all done. 1 and 2. Now this one is looking a little longer again. See what I mean here? How it looks a little longer here on this one tail than the other tail. And where did we do our with our? There it is. So when we put this on to our slider clasp, I really like these kind of clasps. It's a little stiff right now. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our jump rings and attach one side, and then we'll go over to the other side. And I can already see that this one right here is longer. So we're going to use smaller ones on this and medium ones on this. And I think I have in our antique bronze, these are the 2 medium size ones. That one looks more like bronze than copper, but these are antique copper. Let's see if I can, oops, I'm knocking things down. Now these are Tinky Tots in bronze, and I don't think I have them in antique copper. So I am going to just use the bronze because we have a bronze piece here anyway. So, like I said, this looks to be the longer one. So we're going to use these on this one. So open these up. Go over this and then onto our slider. Close this baby up. Now, if you want, you can go and do the opposite side right now. This one has a little bit of an upward climb there. Gotta fix that. There we go. Knocking things off again. Or you can get the little one and put this side on first, and then go to the other side. So I think that may be what we'll do. Now these are of course, a little bit more tricky to put on because they are tiny, and you're going to have less room to work. And once I put the tiny on one side, I might not need it on the other side. So that is one of the reasons why you want to do it side to side like this. Because, come on baby, I can't really see what I'm doing here. So my clasp is actually in my way, but it went on just fine. So now when we go to the other side, oh, and that's one thing I didn't think when I put that on there, is are they facing the right direction, both of them? Come on, flip here. Okay. And you can see, yes, they're still wonky like that. So we do need the small one on the one, and again, the big one on the other one. So what you want to do, because this is got to come around and go on like this, is you're going to pull this apart. Come on. And this is the part that needs to go over here. And you want to put it down the same way you pulled it off. So we'll take this teeny one. Make sure you get the break in the right spot. Then we're going to open it, put it through our bracelet, and onto our clasp. Then we'll close it up. Oop. Well, if you get hold of it right, you'll close it up. Now we'll get the other one, the bigger one, and put it on this other side. Now I obviously flicked this around some because now one is upwards and the other one isn't. So we have to get that back in place there. Now we're going to grab hold of this and go into our bracelet bar. And now comes the test. Were these two big enough to make this work properly, or was it not quite still there? And if it's not quite still there, how much is it off? So it's still tighter on this bottom one, as you can see when I pull it tight. This one gets to go a little loose right here. And if you wanted to, now is the time you could take and put another tinky tot between here and here to give it that other little bit of space. But let's bring her around and see if she really needs it. So it goes through like so. And I appear to be twisted up somehow. How did I do that? Oh, it's just because the one is a little bit longer. It wants to fall. So let's put it on our bracelet form. Fine. And we went way down to 7.5. So we got a bigger bracelet than I intended to make, but it's not bad. So, but like I say, we are still just a tad longer on the double connector one than on the single connector one. Or is it the other way around? Yeah, it's a tad shorter on this one, but not all that much. See, if I put my hand to them and push, they're pretty even. So I'm not going to worry about that extra little bit. So this would go on your arm like so. Turn back the right way, you little turd, and come together here. So it looks like this. Thank you, Rosemary. Well, let's flip back up now. As usual, I went a little over, quite a bit over. It's almost 1:30, or excuse me, we've almost gone 1 minute and 30 seconds. But here is our bracelet, all finished. See if we can get it so you can see it good here. True. Like I said, this one is still a little bit longer. See if when I pull this tight, this one is at a slight angle. See? So it's not off by a lot, but it is off by just a tad. And like I say, if I wished to, I could take another Tinky Tot and put between one side of this loop and the other. But there is our finished piece. Well, that's, come on, there we go. There is the one side, the top. So it's finished. I think we better go. It's been almost an hour and a half. I usually am supposed to do an hour, and I always seem to go over. So anyway, it was good for everybody to come and join me and help me make our bracelet here. And we will see you all later. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden. Bye-bye. Excuse me.